witnesses so it can be confirmed. To you, my Yah, do I lift up my soul. And trust in you, he always kept me whole and left my enemies deep in. To you, my Yah, do I lift up my soul. Always be ashamed. Ain't trust that you sin with him, my Yah, do I show me his ways. And trust in you, he always kept me whole and left my enemies. Remember not the sins of my youth, lead me in your truth, and he'll give your soul ease. The earth shall remain inherited by a seed. The secret of Yah's will who fears Elohim, a fool believes everything. And to every word spoken, you can't take heed unless you hear somebody curse, you know you did the same thing. That's why I'm begging Yah for mercy and his love and kindness, cause I know that I ain't worthy.
The seven seas, captivity is taking hold upon me. Put fright in me and now we flee from fallen leaves. The ground and grief from all the blood, how people sing. And now we cry, where is the word from Elohim? And so we said that we all as wives to be submissive, but we dismissed it. It is of this reason we are fallen victim to the lies that your root will pray and pursue. Rebellious of the son, forgotten that he is one. Broken the holy ordinance, rejection of reproof, then acknowledge what we do.
Local 12 just released the scoop. It's the summer of Sam. They calling us ham. Now we exalt the vow, but hit the turnstile. Yah's Nabi set the crooked things straight. Praise Yah from the rising to the evening to the closing the gates, exposing the fake. Yah give the truth a daybreak. Now the liars can't escape and the haters can't relate to the light the truth make. See the wicked's pride deflate. Ye adore Yah, magnify Yah, cause he's great.
Minutes until showtime. One minute until showtime.
So it can be confirmed. To you, my Yah, do I lift up my soul. And trust in you, he always kept me whole and left my enemies deep in their holes. Let none that wait on Yahweh be ashamed. But shame on those who sin without a cause. Show me your ways, please teach me your laws. Oh Elohim of my salvation, I'm staying down and patient as a child all the while I'm waiting. Remember not the sins of my youth, lead me in your truth and he'll give your soul ease. The earth shall remain inherited by a seed. The secret of Yah's will who fears Elohim, a fool believes everything. And to every
3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
God's word. 2 or 3 witnesses so it can be confirmed. To you, my Yah, do I lift up my soul. And trusting you, he always kept me whole. And left my enemies deep in their holes. Let none that wait on Yahweh be ashamed. But shame on those who sin without a cause. Show me your ways, please teach me your laws. Oh Elohim of my salvation, I'm staying down impatient as a child all the while I'm waiting. Remember not the sins of my youth. Lead me in your truth and he'll give your soul ease. The earth shall remain inherited by a seed. The secret of Yahweh who fears Elohim, or who believes everything and to every word spoken. You can't take heed unless you hear somebody curse you, know you did the same thing. That's why I'm begging Yah for mercy and his love and kindness, cause I know that I ain't worthy.
The 7 seas, captivity is taking hold upon me. For frighten me and now we flee from fallen leaves. The grinding grief from all the blood, how people sing. And now we cry, where is the word from Elohim? And so we said that we always wise to be submissive, but we dismiss it. It is of this reason we have fallen victim to the lies of your root. Will a prey and pursue rebellious of the son, forgotten that he is one. Broken the holy ordinance, rejecting the reproof. Then acknowledge what we do. Now we return back to the truth.
God's word is the truth. Yah's decrees is the proof. Local 12 just released the scoop. It's the summer of Sam. They calling it Sam. Made us worship the Son of Man. And somehow that the moon they stole our style and gave it to Rothschild. Now we exalt the vow, but hit the turnstile. Yah's now be set the crooked things straight. Praise Yah from the rising to the evening to the closing the gate. Exposing the fake. God give the truth a daybreak. Now the liars can't escape and the haters can't relate to the light the truth make. See the wicked's pride deflate. Ye adore Yah, magnify Yah, cause he's great.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is by saying hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah for another day, another week, that he has even allowed us to come before you once again on nothing but the truth. And it is true. All we're going to do is tell you the truth. For Yah ordained me to tell you the truth. My name is Mowreh IshYAH YisraEL of the House of Israel, located right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, 1907 Vine Street. So I praise the mighty Yah for allowing us to bring you another program this day, this week, on the last and seventh everlasting covenant that the Creator made with our people. And yes, there was 7 that he made with our people, exclusively our people. And yes, there are other covenants in the scriptures that he made with Levi, one of the tribes of Israel. That's exclusively with the tribe of Israel. He made a covenant with Noah. And not just Noah, his descendants, but he made that covenant with all the earth. He made a covenant with Phinehas, covenant of peace, for his great courage that he's shown, his great zeal that he demonstrated with the Most High. But these 7, he made specifically and exclusively with the house of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is the last of the 7. So I praise the mighty Yah for allowing us to bring to you his words. And who is this Yah? Yah is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is. Yah is the Elohim of our fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael. And Yah is our Savior, our lawgiver. And our Redeemer. Not just of Israel, but the world. The 7th covenant that we're going to deal with this evening is the new covenant. And yes, the 7th is the new covenant. Anytime you're dealing with the 7th, whether it's the 7th day, whether it's the 7th year, whether it's the 7th born, the Almighty is bringing something, or the 7th generation, no matter what it is. Maybe the 7th month. Yah is bringing something into a completion. He's bringing it to a rest. He's sanctifying it. And he's blessing it. Just to show you this real quick, for example, if you go to the book of Genesis, you're going to find this in Genesis, the 8th chapter. Just so you can see and understand the words that I'm bringing to you. And watch what this says. In the book of Genesis, the 8th chapter, and we're going to read the first 3 verses.
And Elohim remembered Noah and every living thing, and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged.
Meaning they slowed down. Go ahead.
The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped.
And he stopped the rain.
And the rain from heaven was restrained.
Yeah, it was restrained. Go ahead.
And the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of 150 days, the waters were abated.
Yeah, which is not approximate, which is 150 days, no matter where you go, no matter how you count it, no matter where you start to count, 150 days, and we're going to prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt, is 5 months. Of course, in this particular situation, in this particular case, from the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, until the 7th month, the 17th day of a month, which is 150 days, is 5 months. And how do you get that 5 months? Because it's 30 days in each month. This is what the Most High wanted left on record for you to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt what a month is. Even though our enemies is telling us something else. But watch this 4th verse.
And the ark rested in the 7th month.
And the ark rested in the 7th month. And why the 7th month? Because whether it's the 7th month, the 7th year, the 7th day, the 7th generation, you're going to see something come to an end, a completeness or rest, something set apart, something blessed. And when it rested in the 7th month,
on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat.
Yeah, that's when it came to a rest. That's when it stopped. And of course, this will let Noah know everything is going to be all right, because the ark came to a rest, and in this rest, Noah found peace. Who knew what was going on after 150 days of water just taking this ark to and fro, up and down? But then it came to a rest. And when did it come to a rest? In the 7th month, when all of Israel have their most rest. In the day of blowing, you're supposed to rest. In the day of atonement, you are to rest. In the Feast of Tabernacles, you are to rest. And even on the 8th day after the Feast of Tabernacles, you are to rest. And then if you're in the 7th month of the 7th year, in the 49th year, in that same 7th month, you blow the horn of Jubilee on the Day of Atonement. As well as the servants are freed every 7 years. And debts are released in the 7th year. And the law is read before all the people in the 7th year. Because this is the time where Yah will bless, He will sanctify, He will bring to a rest, as well as complete the thing that He has started. And since the Almighty made the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is, in 6 days, He rested in the 7th. So you can understand that now that we're talking about the new covenant, you should already understand and know what the new covenant is going to usher in. Something very blessed, something sanctified, something that will be brought to an end, a completion. And the Almighty will give you rest. Rest in Him. So let us read this new covenant, because many people are under the erroneous impression and thought that they are already under the new covenant, and this is false. As a matter of fact, many of the teachings that you hear today are false. But Yah said He would send His servant, and His servant will make the crooked things straight. who will make darkness light, and he will bring you by a path that you had not known. And why? For the Almighty said he is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. So he will magnify the law and make it honorable. And the covenants of Yah are the law. They are his commandments. They are his statutes, and they are his judgments. Let me show you this in the book of Jeremiah 31, because this is where we learn, or first learn, about this new covenant. And the first thing you're going to learn about this new covenant is what we read about in the 31st verse. Jeremiah 31, verse 31.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Yisrael and with the house of Yehudah.
Now, the first thing the Creator lets us know about this new covenant is that he's going to make it with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. And as I told you before, all Yah's covenants, all of them, is something. A covenant is, it's not just words. It's not just an oath. It's not just a promise. But a covenant is something that you cut with the Most High or with someone else. There's, even with a man and a woman, know this is why the Almighty required the woman to be a virgin, or one of the reasons we get into that. Because when a man and a woman came together in holy matrimony to cut this covenant that only came from the Most High, the Almighty had a man go into his wife, and this thing that the Almighty had the man to do, if you really understand what it means to humble a woman, there's cutting that has to be done. A break have to be made between a man and a woman, because all covenants, there's a cut, there's a break. And this cut and this break really is not to separate, but actually to bring together. And we're going to show you some examples of this, how this must be done. Because as you can see, this new covenant is not just made with the house of Israel, but it's also made with the house of Yehudah. And why? Because the house of Israel and the house of Yehudah are totally separated today. They were divided. And they were divided because of sin. They were divided because of rebellion. And the Almighty will bring them back together. But once he brings them back together, he will bring them back together in unity through his covenant. He's not just going to say, look, Israel, you get back with Yehuda. Yehuda, you get back with Israel. No. These factions must come back together literally. And that's one reason why you know that we're not under no new covenant. Because the house of Israel and the house of Yehuda are not together. And this is the only people Yah said he was going to make a new covenant with. He never talked about making a new covenant with anyone else other than the house of Israel and the house of Yehuda. And that covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehuda is them coming back together. That's part of it. I just want you to see this real quick. Why, and you can understand why the Almighty is saying certain things. Because if you desire to be a part of the new covenant, then you're going to have to understand things before the Almighty bring this to pass. So, for example, in the book of Zephaniah, the 2nd chapter, watch what it says. It says in the very first verse of the 2nd chapter of Zephaniah.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired.
So the Almighty right now is looking at the house of Yehuda, at the house of Israel, and seeing who will fear him and tremble at his words. See, if you fear him and tremble at his words, you're going to do what he say. Because you know Yah mean what he say, and he say what he mean. And so he's telling those undesirables, which is the house of Israel, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desire. How else can he make a new covenant with these two families and they not come together? They got to come together for him to make this covenant with them. And he gives you a timeline. And watch the timeline. Continue reading.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as a chaff, before the fierce anger of Yahweh come upon you, before the day of Yahweh's anger come upon you.
So he's letting you know when you are to seek your people, seek unity, to seek brotherhood, and to gather yourselves together. I know you don't all you're not united in your beliefs. The Almighty know that. You don't think he know how divided you are? Yes, he know how divided you are. And in spite of that, he's still telling you to gather yourselves together. Because he know that if you gather yourselves together and sit down at the table of brotherhood, there's a lot. If you do the very next thing that he tell you to do, then the possibilities are great. But if you don't do it at all, then the possibilities can't even be realized. And watch what he say next. 3rd verse.
Seek Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yah's anger.
So if you want to be hid, seek Yah, seek meekness, and seek righteousness. And the only way, and the reason for that is to be hid in the day of Yah's anger. And the reason you want to do that is because Yah said he wants you to gather yourselves together. And he know if you continue to have the pride and the arrogance and the haughtiness that exists among his leaders, you're not going to humble yourself. And you're not going to see righteousness. And you're not going to be hid. We've been bringing people, Israelites, together for over 24 years now, 3 times a year, and all we do is talk about the Creator's laws, restoring his laws. And for some, they see that as vain. For some, they say we was just wasting our time. But little do they know, just like King David. King David did not build the house of the Most High. But the Almighty said it was good that it was in his heart. See, regardless if these meetings yield the results that you're looking for, the Almighty is saying it's still good in your heart because this is what I told you to do. He didn't say what the outcome would be. He just said, gather yourselves together, O nation not desire. And this good thing he wants you to do, this is the very thing that's not being done. Furthermore, in the book of Psalm 50, turn there. And I may add, we will be coming together at our next conference in November. It's typically around the Thanksgiving weekend, the heathens' holiday, when most of our people are off from work, and we'll let you know the exact location. And we'll also let you know what we'll be dealing with. In the book of Psalm 50, this is what the Creator said in the 5th verse.
Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Yeah, he said, gather my saints together unto me. And when you going to do that? When will you do that? Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And what is the sacrifice that Yah is looking for? Well, let me tell you what it is. The sacrifice of righteousness. That's what he's looking for. Just like in the case of Abraham, the Almighty told him to look towards the stars. And he said, if you can count them, asked him, could he count them? And instead of Abraham looking at the stars and saying, man, it's got to be 100 million stars up there. It's got to be 100,000 stars up there. Man, it's got to be a zillion stars up there. He was honest and didn't say a number. He just said, he just believed Yah. If you saying my seed will be as the stars of heaven, however many is up there, that's how many children I'll have then. And Yah counted to him as righteousness because that was the sacrifice of righteousness. And this is what you'll do when you're honest and truthful. And he was. He was honest, he was truthful, he was faithful to the Most High. So we have to gather ourselves together in order for us to come together in this new covenant. Just one more scripture on that. In the book of Isaiah 52. And what are we discussing? We're discussing the new covenant. Because some people believe we are already under the new covenant. And this is not the truth. Because if this was the truth, then the house of Israel and house of Yehuda will already be back together. No, in order for us to be under the new covenant, that has to take place first. Because that's who we made the new covenant with. In the book of Isaiah 52, this is what it says, starting at the 5th verse.
Now therefore, what have I here, saith Yah, that my people is taken away for naught? They that rule over them make them to howl, saith Yahweh. And my name continually every day is blasphemed.
And that's what's going on. Our name of Yah is blasphemed not only in the midst of our people, but also in the midst of our enemies. So even if we ain't around our enemies, our people still blaspheming the name of Yah. Go ahead. Therefore my people
shall know my name. Therefore they shall know that in that day that I am he that doth speak. Behold, it is I.
You don't think the Almighty gonna let us know his name? We got all these people talking about his name is this, his name is that. Well, did the Almighty tell you that? Did he tell you that in a vision? Did he come to you in a dream? And did he come tell you that this is his name? And if that's the name that he gave you to come tell his people, then show us something to let us know that you're telling us the truth. Show us the power of Yah since you coming in his name. Teach us, show us some secrets that we didn't know, that we hadn't found, that we hadn't seen.
How beautiful is it upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publishes peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publishes salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy Elohim reigneth. Thy watchmen shall lift up thy voice. With the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when Yahweh shall bring again Zion.
No, not when they get home. You think Yah is taking a bunch of Israelites home, continually fighting with one another, and then as soon as they get home, they're going to see eye to eye? No, that's not how Yah work. No, Israel got to go through a few things before they see home. And one of the things they got to do, they're going to have to see eye to eye. If they want Zion to be brought back, they have to see eye to eye. And I tell people all the time, there's nothing worth having if there's no struggle involved in it. Why do you think the name Israel, we got the name Israel, Yisrael, by struggle? Our father Yaakov wrestled with an angel. And after wrestling with this angel, he received a great blessing. The greatest name on earth, Yisrael. And what do it mean? A prince that has power with Elohim and man and has prevailed. And yes, he prevailed. And yes, we will prevail if we take hold of Yah's covenants and if we take hold of his laws and his commandments and his statutes and his judgments. And it's understandable why most of our people don't know it, because they hadn't been taught it. All they've been taught is division. And the Almighty want his laws restored. Because soon, and very soon, our people will be leaving this land. So the watchmen have to see eye to eye. So you can duck and hide and run and do all that type of stuff, but at the end of the day, every work shall be brought into judgment, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Every work. So the house of Israel and the house of Yehudah, this covenant is made with them. Go back to Jeremiah 31. Because we're speaking about the new covenant. And it's nothing like the new covenant in the New Testament. As a matter of fact, there's nothing new about the New Testament. Nothing. In the book of Jeremiah 31, verse 32, and watch what it says.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahweh.
Yeah, it said, it's not going to be, it's not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said Yah. And this is what the Almighty was. He was our husband. We are his wife. And what is a husband? A husband is a master. The Almighty would have never called himself a husband if this was some type of inferior position. He called himself a husband because he knows the word husband is a position of authority. This is a position of great stature. We got people running around don't even want to be a husband. All they want to be is a whoremonger. Just making women out of hoes. And then after they do it, you say, man, you're going to get married? And they come up with all kind of reasons not to get married. She ain't ready for that. She ain't this and she ain't that, but she enough for you to sleep with. She enough for you to lay with. She enough for you to play with. But she ain't enough for you to be her husband. And it's probably because you really just don't know the great stature and the great position that a husband has. If you knew, if you realize, the Almighty called himself a husband. Watch what the Creator, he not only called himself a husband, but look, in the book of just get this for you real quick. In the book of Isaiah, the 54th chapter, Isaiah 54, just want you to see this. He said, even though he was a husband to us, we still broke his covenant. And that's important to know. Because most women, and I may add most men, don't know how important a covenant is And they don't know how important a husband is. And watch what it says in Isaiah 54, verse 55.
Verse 5.
Yes, Isaiah 54, verse 5.
For thy maker is thine husband.
For thy maker is thine husband.
Yahweh of hosts is his name.
Uh-huh.
And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Yisrael, the Elohim of the whole earth.
The Elohim of the whole earth.
Shall he be called.
Shall he be called, because he is thy husband. And oftentimes we forget our husband and what he means. Watch what it says about this husband. Continue reading.
For Yahweh hath called thee as a woman forsaken, and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou wast refused, saith thy Elohim. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee, for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith Yahweh thy Redeemer.
Yeah, because the Almighty was just trying to get your attention. He wasn't punishing you for you to turn your back on him. He wasn't punishing you for you to go and seek out other lovers. He was not punishing you so you can go ahead and forsake him. No, that's why he punished you, because you turned your back, because you forsook him, and because you sought out other lovers. But he wanted you to understand that he was your husband when nobody else cared about you. And watch what it say in the 9th verse.
For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee.
In other words, look at the great kindness, the great mercy, the loving kindness of your husband. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. And what is the waters of Noah? The Almighty, it grieved the Almighty so much that he brought the flood waters, even though they deserved it. They deserved everything Yah did, but it grieved him so much. He repented the fact that he killed man, took the breath of man and beasts and everything for the sake of man. And since that grieved him, he said, man, I would never do that again. I would never do that again. And was it a mistake? No, it was not no mistake. The Almighty don't make mistakes. Was it imperfection? No. Yah is perfect. But it grieved him because Yah love you and Yah cares. Even though you might put your wife away for the best reasons, and you had no choice, and you had to divorce her, and you had to put her out of your sight, you should feel something about that. This was your wife. This was your companion. This was your soulmate. And now what y'all brought together, it had to be broken. And some things have to be broken If not, the Almighty would have never put in his law concerning divorce. Because if he didn't have that, then you can behave any kind of way, as you have with your husband. He said, this is as the waters of Noah. This just grieved him. And for as I've sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I will not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountains shall depart, the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, said Yah, that have mercy on thee. So here, the Almighty is letting us know He is our husband. But we broke His covenant. And the Almighty is not going to allow you to break His covenant and enter in the same way. Why do you think if you break the covenant of circumcision, you're cut off? Why do you think if you break the 10 Commandments, you're cut off? Why do you think you break the covenant of the Sabbath? You're cut off. And why do you think the Almighty said, if you come into me, I will make a covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David? All those who come in here, let me just read this to you, since it's just the next chapter over, Isaiah 55, because I want you to see that all these covenants, there's a cut that's involved. During the time of Noah, the Almighty cut off all flesh but his family. During the time when Moses went and got the tablets of stone from the Most High, he wrote them with his own finger because he had to cut something. And he cut it right into the stones, into the tables, that they might last and be forever. When the Almighty allowed Abraham and made a covenant with Abraham, the very first covenant he made with our people, he had Abraham and everyone in his house cut their own flesh, which is called circumcision, on the 8th day, because something got to be cut. The Almighty made a covenant with the house of Israel, telling them that the Sabbath is a sign between Him and His people forever. And so in order for everyone to keep this covenant, our people have to cut away from everybody else every Sabbath day to be holy. For the Creator said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So we have to cut away from all our co-workers. We have to cut away from all our family members who refuse to serve Yah. We have to cut away from all our friends that refuse to be one with the Most High. We have to cut away from everybody that refuse to be holy. And then this fourth covenant. This covenant only exists because the Almighty, when he separated the house of David and the tribes of Israel, he did it because he could have destroyed everybody, but he did it because he wanted a lamp and a light to always be in Jerusalem. And that lamp, that light, was the light and lamp of David. If it wasn't for David, we will be destroyed. But Yah made a covenant that there will always be someone on his throne, his descendant. And then Yah went further and said, now the mercy that I showed with him and his family, I'm showing with the whole nation, even the sure mercies of David. And watch what the Creator said about this covenant. The third verse.
Isaiah 55, verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you. Even the sure mercies of David.
Even the sure mercies of David. And why did Yah say, incline your ear and come unto me and hear, and your soul shall live? Because if you don't hear this, and you don't come unto him, I can assure you that your soul will die. It will die. Because Yah will make a cut. And what is this cut? This cut is a covenant. And today, the house of Israel and the house of Yehudah are cut into two. And now they have to be amended. And when the Almighty do that, he's going to do that with the new covenant. And I may add, the covenant of the fifth day, the fifth covenant and the sixth covenant is day and night. And how did y'all cut that? Every day at evening, y'all cut to make sure that day and night is not one. And why? Because he made a covenant. These are physical cuts. And every morning, so the night won't think I'm going to be a part of day, y'all cut it. And now that night cannot be a part of that morning, that day. Because every day or every morning and every evening, Yah make his physical cut, as he did with Abraham, as he did with the Ten Commandments with Moses, as he did with the Sabbath day with his people, as he did with David. So did he do with day and night. And make no mistake about it, the new covenant, there must be a cut. And I'm going to show you how Yah will do it. Going back to Jeremiah 31. Remember what the seventh represents. Jeremiah 31, verse 33.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Yisrael after those days, saith Yah.
The house of Yehudah and the house of Israel, now they together. Now I don't have to say the house of Israel and say the house of Yehuda. Now we can give praise to the Most High Yah, because now they've been blessed, they've been sanctified. Now all I had to say, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. Because y'all only have one house on earth. And that house is the congregation of Israel. He only has one congregation. One. And they're not called the Jehovah's Witnesses. And they're not called the Baptists and the Presbyterians. And they're not called the house of the synagogue or any other house. The house of Israel. The congregation of Israel. That's it. One house. One church. One meeting place. One synagogue. And watch what it says.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people.
In other words, Yah is going to cut the inside of your flesh. And what is he going to cut in it? Well, he's going to cut his law. And why? Why your inward parts? Because your inward parts, most people don't realize we don't live from the outside in. Yah, the living of Yah, is the inside out. And oftentimes, when people go to try to heal themselves, when they try to make themselves better, when they try to do something to themselves to bring themselves up, they always do it from outside in. And this is not how Yah do it. Yah do it from inside out. So you ever want to heal yourself, you got to start inwardly. And the first place you start is your heart. Why do you think Yah went straight to the heart? The Almighty didn't go to the kidney, the liver, the spleen, the brain. He went straight to the center of man, and that was his heart. And he started cutting on the heart. But nobody wants their heart cut. When that's the one thing that Yah said he won't even despise. And I want you to see this, show you what happened when your heart is cut. Go to the book of Psalms 51. Because we're talking about the new covenant and what has to take place. And what is this new covenant? Well, the first thing it is the restoration of the house of Israel and the house of Yehuda coming back together, being mended. The new covenant is the house of Israel taking their rightful place with their husband, who is the Most High. This is the one that you're married to. But don't think you can come back in the same way you left out. You left out breaking the covenant. So you can't come back in as if you ain't did nothing. You can't come back in the same way, making the same promises, making the same vain attempts to say, well, I'm going to do right this time. I'm going to be good this time. I'm not going to do this time. No, you said all that before. And to Yah, words are cheap. Action is louder than words. So Yah is not going to bring you back the same way. And watch what it says in the book of Psalm 51. And we're going to start reading at the 10th verse and watch what it says.
Create in me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renew a right spirit within me.
Yeah, create in me a clean heart. In other words, however you clean something up, Yah, clean my heart. And why my heart? Because that's where the filth is. It's in the heart. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you how the filth is in the heart. And that's the place that has to be cut up. Continue reading.
Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O Elohim, thou Elohim of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. O Yah, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou desirest not in delightest not in burnt offerings. The sacrifices of Elohim are a broken heart.
A broken spirit.
A broken heart. A broken and contrite heart. A broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O Elohim, thou wilt not despise.
In other words, what is this saying? This is saying the sacrifice, the best sacrifice you can give the Most High, the first thing is a broken spirit. But who want a broken spirit? Who want that? The righteous. That's the ones who want a broken spirit. And who want a broken and contrite heart? Nobody want their heart broken and contrited, but the righteous. When you get your heart all broken up, and how do you get your heart broken? It get cut up. And when it get cut up, then your heart can finally begin to heal. And how do it heal? By thinking, by considering. That's what a broken heart do. It makes you reflect. And y'all gonna cut that heart up so it can begin to reflect. A lot of people fight against having a broken heart. But no, you want that heart broken up so you can begin healing. The faster it get broken, the faster you will heal. The longer it takes to break it up, the longer it's going to take to heal and to do something good. And Yah is going to break this heart. But Yah, in all his sacrifices, and this is a sacrifice, he said the sacrifices of Elohim are a broken spirit and a broken and contrite heart. In other words, Yah he only accepts willing sacrifices. So if you're not willing to do this, we went all over the country in 2015, just telling all the leaders and the brothers and sisters, all the Israelites, like, look, let us come together and let us just break down to the Most High and let him know we don't know nothing. And the only one that is right is him. And let's ask him. Let's seek him. And ask him to make the crooked things straight. This is what we ask the Most High. Yah, please, make the crooked things straight. For the only one that is the truth is you. And this is what we did. And even though many people laughed at us and scorned us for doing such a thing, as you can see, or as some can see, that's exactly what we're doing today. Because we sought Yah for such a thing. Yah still wants you to break your heart. He still wants you to break your spirit. And he wants it to be willingly. Because if he has to do it, you're not going to like it. And more than likely, you're not going to accept it. And more than likely, it's going to kill you. So I hope you're taking heed to my words. We're talking about the new covenant. And what is this new covenant? Any covenant that Yah has, you got to be cut on. Why do you think the Almighty took Adam, put him to sleep, and cut him, and took this rib out of him, and then made him a woman, and brought this woman to him, that they may be man and wife? Because any covenant that Yah has, there's some cutting involved. And Yah is going to cut our heart. So you better start learning how to break yourself. Break yourself of all the foolishness, all the slandering, all the lying, all the tale-bearing, all the hate that you have against your own. Break yourself. Break yourself of the lies. Break yourself of all your false lovers. Break yourself. And it starts and it lies in your heart. Why you think the new covenant is all about your heart? That's what it's about. Your heart. And I want you to see even more. Because Yah is going to cut in this heart. Look what it says in the book of Ezekiel, the 36th chapter. And I'm going to show you what this cutting will actually do to your heart and what it will produce. In the book of Ezekiel 36, and I want you to start reading at the 16th verse.
Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanliness of a removed woman. Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries, according to their way, and according to their doings I judged them. And when they entered unto the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, These are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim, I do not this for thy sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith Yahweh Elohim, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen, and will gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land.
And watch what happens. And this got to happen before we brought into our own land, because Yah is not about to take a filthy, polluted people back home. He's not going to do it. Get that out of your mind. He's not going to do it. You can't wait till you get home to keep the laws of the Most High. You can't wait till you get home to try to work out all your problems and come together. You can't wait to try to have unity when you get home. No, all that has to take place before you go home. And watch what it says.
Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you.
Sprinkle clean water upon you, which let you know you don't have to be baptized by nobody and in the name of nobody, because Yah's going to sprinkle clean water on you. And the clean water he sprinkle on you, you ain't going to need to be dumped in no filthy pool. Watch what it says.
And ye shall be clean.
And ye shall be clean.
From all your filthiness.
All your filthiness.
And from all your idols.
All your idols.
Will I cleanse you.
Will I cleanse you.
A new heart also will I give you.
Yeah, how is he going to give you this new heart? He's going to give you this new heart because you got to be operated on. How do you think Adam got his wife? How do you think Abraham and all his descendants became one with the Most High? Something had to be cut. And we got to be cut on. Watch what it says.
A new heart will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh.
So don't think you can take that stony heart and keep it in you. No. Yah is not about to work on no stony heart. Y'all don't got time to be working on no stony heart. That's what you're supposed to do. But y'all not about to mess with no stony heart. He just replaced that thing. But he's not going to replace it if you are unwilling to break it up. If you're unwilling to do something with your own heart. If you're not willing to do something with your own heart, what makes you think he's going to be willing to do something with your heart? And you don't even want to do nothing with it. In other words, you don't even want to break it. So what sense do it make for him to break it? And you don't want to do it. Man, I don't want my heart break. All right then, I ain't going to break it. That makes sense to me. How you going to make somebody keep the Sabbath? If they don't want to keep the Sabbath, then what you making them keep the Sabbath for? If they don't want to eat clean, well, what you making them eat clean for? If they don't want to wear their ZZ, what you making them wear their ZZ for? They don't want to do it anyway. And if they don't want to do it, you think y'all gonna make them do this? No. Y'all's not gonna make. He only want willing souls. Watch what it says.
And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them.
You're going to keep my judgments and do them. Go ahead.
And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. I will also save you from all your uncleanlinesses.
All your uncleannesses.
And I will call for the corn, and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you.
Because all your uncleannesses, all of them, they lie right there in your heart. They lie in your heart. And that's the thing that has to be cleaned up. Because once you clean up that heart and clean up that spirit, as a matter of fact, read that 26th verse again.
A new heart also will I
I
give
will
you,
give you a new heart.
and a new spirit will I put within you.
In other words, for some strange reason, our people seem to believe that the heart is the spirit. No, the Almighty said he's going to replace the heart and give us a new spirit. We don't just need another heart. We need also another spirit. And another spirit is not another heart. And another heart is not another spirit. We need both. Both have to be replaced. Both have to be renewed. And why? Because we're talking about the new covenant. And let me show you what's going to happen if you're blessed to make it under this new covenant. Let me just show you one more thing about it. In the book of Ezekiel, the 11th chapter. Before I show you the results of this new covenant. In the book of Ezekiel, the 11th chapter, and start reading at the 17th verse.
Therefore say, thus saith Yahweh Elohim, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for you.
And they shall come thither, and they shall take away all the detestable things thereof, and all the abominations thereof from thence. And I will give them one heart.
I'm going to give them how many hearts?
One heart.
One heart. Go ahead.
And I will put a new spirit within you.
You're not just going to get a heart, you're going to get a spirit also, because you need both. Let every matter be established by two or more witnesses. So he's going to give you a new heart, and he's going to give you a new spirit. And watch what he says.
And I will take the stony heart out of their flesh.
Yeah, I'm going to take this stony heart out of your flesh. You think that's a metaphor? You think Yahweh this is a metaphor, but he really ain't going to take the stony heart out of you. No, he's really going to take the stony heart out of you. He's really going to put a new heart in you. He's really going to give you a new spirit. He's really actually going to do it. Go ahead.
And will give them a heart of flesh.
And he's going to take the stony heart out, and he's going to give you a heart of flesh. And what is a heart of flesh? Well, a heart of flesh is something soft. It can absorb. And what do Yah want you to absorb? He wants you to absorb his words. He wants to be able to write it on your heart that you might keep all his laws, execute all his statutes, and keep all his commandments, and have respect unto all his covenants. So he's got to make this thing soft enough to write on it. You ever tried to write on something real hard? You know how hard it is? So how are you going to write something on your heart? No, he's just going to take that thing, throw it away, because that thing ain't good for nothing. And watch what it says. 20th verse.
That they may walk in my statutes.
Well, that's the only way you're going to walk in the statutes, with a new heart.
And keep my ordinances.
Keep my ordinances, which is his order, and that's what we're dealing with now. And this is the seventh covenant.
And do them. And they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. But as for them whose heart walketh after the heart of their detestable things and their abominations.
Yeah, why? Because their heart is hard, and they refuse to listen. Refuse. That's how you know your heart is hard. That's how you know your neck is stiff. That's how you know you're rebellious. A stiff neck helps nobody. You got to loosen up that neck. You got to break down that heart. The more stiff it is, the worse it is. The softer it is, and nobody want to be soft. Even the women today don't want to be soft. They want to be hard. I dare you to say something. You ain't going to talk to me. Why are you so hard? You above being talking to any kind of way? You just man. We just man. We're nothing. We're nothing. We ain't made nothing. We don't own nothing. We don't even control nothing. I will recompense their weight upon their own heads, says Yah Elohim. And watch what the Creator let us know going back to Jeremiah 31. Because I want you to see what this new covenant is designed to do. In other words, I want you to see the bottom line. The bottom line. Because there's a bottom line to everything. And you got to understand Yah's bottom line. And what's the bottom line? After he put this in our inward parts, and he's going to be our Elohim, and we will be his people, watch the 34th verse, because this is the bottom line. Jeremiah 31, verse 34.
This book is stuck. All right, sorry about that. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh.
That's over. We're not going to have to teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother saying, Know Yah. Do you know the grief one is under every day? He's got to teach this. Teaching your children, teaching your kids. We love to teach everybody the word of Yah, but we know what it's going to bring. It's going to bring a lot of sorrow. It's going to bring a lot of grief. It's going to bring a lot of miseries. And then after you teach them, they grow up and act like they know more than you. And that really you ain't taught them nothing. In other words, this seventh covenant is meant to give you rest. Now, you don't have to concern yourself with teaching nobody, because everybody will know him, from the greatest to the least. Everybody will know him. Now you got rest. You don't have to say, look, what you eating, man? Don't you know that you can't eat that? You'll never have to say that again. Because everybody going to know Yah. Everybody. Now you're going to have the true divine rest that you always wanted. You don't have no divine rest today and you got Jehovah Witnesses knocking on your door without no call. You got that even sound evil, to come to somebody's house unannounced. Who do such a thing? Just come over somebody's house knocking on the door without being invited. That's not no rest. That's aggravating. That's irritating. And let somebody show up at their house and bang on the door and look in the window and sit outside in the car waiting till you come out of the store so they can race out of the car just to give you something that you don't want. No, this is not the way the servants of Yah act. Watch what it says. Read that again.
And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
Yeah, that's the type of rest. That's the type of sanctification. That's the type of blessing that one should desire, that I don't even have to teach this no more. Because I'm going to know it and you're going to know it. Because when you have to teach something oftentimes you got to fight about it. What you think Israel is doing today? They fighting every day and every week, every month, every year. Who's right and who's wrong? Well, everybody gonna be right then. And the most beautiful thing about this is Yah will take that choice from you because he's gonna give you a new heart. See, the old heart, you can choose. And let me show you this. In the book of Deuteronomy 31, turn there real quick. No, Deuteronomy 30. Just want you to see the difference. How he's going to bring you to a rest. He's going to bless you. He's going to sanctify you. 15th verse, Deuteronomy 30 and 15.
See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil.
Go ahead.
In that I command thee this day to love Yahweh, thy Elohim, to walk in his ways and to keep his commandments, and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply, and Yahweh thy Elohim shall bless thee in the land whither thou go to possess it. But if thy heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other deities and serve them.
Because the problem lies in the heart. Go ahead.
I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land, whither thou goest, passest over Jordan to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
Yeah, Yah said choose life because it's up to you. The choice is yours, whether you want to serve Yah or not, whether you want to praise Yah or not, whether you want to worship Yah or not, whether you want life or death, blessing or
90 seconds.
all that is up to you today. And Yah, in the end, is looking at the choice that you will choose. He's seeing if you're going to choose life or are you going to choose death. And if you choose life, then Yah got a blessing for you. He got a new heart for you. He's got a new spirit for you that he himself
60
will
seconds.
operate on you. And yes, one day, all of us will be put to sleep and then woken up a new person because we will have a new heart and we have a new spirit. And you won't even know that Yah operated on you, but he did. And it's up to you whether you want to be under this new covenant or not. Today, the choice is yours. But the time is coming. If Yah choose, and he will choose,
10 seconds.
I already let you know that it will only be a remnant. Because that's how Yah go down. That's how I work with Yah. He only going to choose a few. And if you want to be in that few, you better make the right choice today. These are Yah's 7 everlasting covenants. This is the 7th of the everlasting covenant. It's called the new covenant, where Yah will cut you a new heart and give you a new spirit. I hope you learned something from these covenants. I hope you understand now how much respect that you have to have for the covenants of Yah, that you might have a heart and the mind even the Spirit, to return unto him, so he can return unto us. And until tomorrow, Yah love you, and so do I. Shalom.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.